I work with kids, and 5-year-olds they don't really have a memory yet, and they don't really have social tact yet. And so if I show up to class and I have a hat on, they're like, "Hi, Mr. Kevin." And if I show up to class without a hat, they're like, "Hi, Mr. Kevin." But if I show up to class with a hat on, and then halfway through class, I take the hat off, the entire class will be like, "Oh my gosh, you're bald!" Every time, like, "You have no hair!" And I'm like, "Okay, get back to class, yep. And these kids, like, they're 5, but I've actually gotten to the door of a classroom and just been like, "Okay, Kevin, hat on or hat off, make the decision now. You don't want Sebastian making you feel insecure again, okay?" And this one time the class did that, and then it quieted down, and then this really sweet girl, she was like, "Mr. Kevin?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Do you think if you wanted to, you could ever grow your hair back?" And I was like, "Well, thanks for asking. No, I couldn't, but also if I could, I wouldn't want to because I love myself just the way that I am." And she said, "Okay, it's just that you look really mean with no hair." And I was like, "Well, maybe I'm not fucking mean, okay? Maybe that what you said was mean. You think about that?" I was too mean to a kid one time. There's this one really loud kid, and I overdid it with him. He wasn't listening. Everybody was like listening, and he was just like talking. We're like, "Can we do our thinking cups, everybody? Quiet." And he's like, "No." And I was like, "All right, Alistair, can we do a quiet minute, everybody? Shh." And he's like, "No, why do you even come here?" And I was like, "Well, I come here so that we can all learn." And he's like, "No, why do you show up every week?" And I'm like, "'Cause your parents fucking pay me. That's why." Okay? And once they stop, I won't. And they started crying. I'm like, "And to learn! And to learn!" Shut up, kid. Shut the fuck up. I think it'd be tough to grow up at this era. Like, to be those kids, you know? They have all the information in their pocket. They have, like, every video game in the world in their pocket. And they have, like, porn in their pocket. Like, that's terrifying. It's like on your phone. You have everything. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I went to the sleepover at Jason Gafka's house, and we all got our own blanket, and it was 6 guys, and we got under our blankets, and then we put on Titanic, and then we paused it on Kate Winslet's boobs, and we all just went to town together on ourselves. And then a person would finish masturbating, and then they'd wash their hands and go downstairs and play Mario Kart. And I just worry about this generation because, you know, they're playing video games by themselves on their phone, they're looking at porn by themselves on their phone, and that was a communal thing for us, you know? And we learned about really important things like competition, because there were 6 people at the sleepover, and there were only 4 controllers, okay? So you had to finish, and the better that you did, the better character in Mario Kart that you got, you know? And it's weird telling that story and knowing the other 5 people at the sleepover, and like one's a lawyer and one's a cardiologist, and I'm just like, I could name names right now. So I'm not embarrassed about that story, and I don't think you guys should be for me, because it was one of the greatest sleepovers of my life, still to this day. I will tell you the most embarrassed I've ever been in my life. Ever, hands down. Are you prepared for this? Most embarrassed I've ever been. I shudder to think of it right now. I had a student, and I was teaching him how to play chess. He was about 5 years old. And I would go over each week, and we'd learn how the pieces move. And we would learn about how the game works, and how check works, and checkmate, right? And his mom is one of the foremost African-American writers in the country. I knew about her work before I even met her. She's won multiple Pulitzer Prizes. She won the MacArthur Grant, which is called the Genius Grant, okay? And I showed up one week, and I was excited to talk to her, because sometimes we would chat, and we were chatting about a screenplay she was working on. And I was talking to this brilliant writer about this brilliant work that she was doing, and we were just chatting. I was getting caught up in it. And she was like, "Well, you know, her son Dylan," she's like, "You know, Dylan, he wants to be white." And I was like, "What?" She was like, "Dylan, he I think he wants to be white. And I was like when he grows up? She said, excuse me? I was like, he wants to be white when he grows up? She said, no, on the chessboard. And we looked over, and he had set up all of the white chess pieces in front of him. And I was like, yeah, on the chessboard, cool, cool. I still have fucking nightmares about that moment. And I wake up, and I'm like, oh, that was horrible. Nope, it's true. There's no place I can go where that didn't actually happen. So I go and I sit down, and I'm playing chess against him. Okay? And I just have my head down, we're just playing, and I look up, and there's a giant poster of Malcolm X. I swear to God. And it became like a Harry Potter picture that starts moving. He's like, oh, like when he grows up, huh? Yeah, like when he grows up. And I'm sweating, and she'd walk through the room, and I'd start sweating, and I took my hat off because I was sweating so bad, and the kid was like, oh my gosh, you're bald! And I was like, they're all the same. All the kids are the same, you know? Oh. I don't even like talking about that because it's true, and now I have to think about it, and you guys weren't there, and you guys haven't read her work. She's so talented. So, I did go bald when I was 15 years old. I started losing my hair, and I went to a doctor, and the doctor looked like George Clooney walked off the set of ER, and the first thing the doctor said was like, well, you're going bald. But Kevin, I will say that when I was a kid, I was insecure because my hair was so thick. And I was like, oh, fuck you. That's not an insecurity. Society chooses your insecurities for you. You don't just make them up. You're not like, oh, my penis is too big. At the gym, I feel insecure, you know. I think this is what the doctor said at the time. He was like, here's your options, okay? You can go on Propecia. And I was like, what is that? He's like, it's a drug. It means you'll keep all your hair. And I was like, okay. And he's like, the side effect is you could get erectile dysfunction. And I can't think of a worst case scenario than having a full head of hair and a penis that doesn't work. Because I feel like no one acknowledges it, but it's for girls to have hair. It's not for friends. There's no one that's just like, I've heard girls that have been like, I'm not attracted to bald guys, but I've never heard of a guy that's like, if you don't have hair, we can't hang out, okay? That's my deal. And I think what everyone's scared of is this. People are scared of the horseshoe, you know? And I've actually come half circle on the horseshoe. That was for me. This is why, because people, I would notice when my hair was thinning, like on its way to this, people would just be like, why don't you just shave it off? And I'm like, I don't know. They're like, if I ever lose any of my hair, I'm shaving it right there. And I'm like, okay, I would rather look like Larry David than I'm in a hate group, okay? I don't want people confusing me. It's like, just have the horseshoe. It's great. Here's the best part about it is, and I tried this a few years ago, my girlfriend in high school, her mom had 9 fingers, okay? And anytime she would get a manicure, her mom was crazy. The psycho mom would go get a manicure and she would like, I get 10% off. And I was like, why? And she's like, 1 less finger. You're doing 10% less work. So I get a 10% discount. The people would be like, okay, here it is. And it worked. And I went into my barber like 2 years ago. And it was a new barber and I was like, half off, right? And he was like, half the hair, half the price. Take a seat. I was like, yes!